Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we're going to be talking about the regeneration of Old Trafford. Are we going to get a new stadium? Are we going to get a whole new town here, it would seem, at Old Trafford? There are plans for a bit of regeneration, and the club have announced this strategic partnership. What exactly does that mean? What does it mean for us fans? And what does it mean in terms of the stadium here at Old Trafford? Let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and the weather, it's alright, it's a bit windy. You might need your parkers. Loads of stories to get through, so we will crack on. Before we do though, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers, and with your support we will get there. Big thank you to everyone who has supported the channel. Right, the big story, let's just crack on with the big story this morning, and this is about this sort of strategic partnership between Manchester United, Trafford Council and the Greater Manchester Combined Authority. Now I know what you're thinking, Jay, what are you on about? Strategic partnerships, Greater Manchester Combined Authority, Trafford Council, bore off. But this is actually very interesting because you're talking about the new stadium, if there is going to be a new stadium, and developing the surrounding area. Now the club have done an announcement, the Manchester Evening News have ran a story on it as well, so there's obviously a little bit of fire to this smoke, and it's talking about what the club are going to do moving forward with the regeneration, not just of the stadium or perhaps a new stadium, but also the surrounding area. Now we know there was this sort of task force that was put in place by the club, by Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, where you had people like, I think Lord Coe was involved, you had I think Andy Burnham, some people from his office, if you will. I think Duncan Drasdo from Manchester United supporters just involved. And it was looking at what was the best way forward for the club when it came to the stadium. And now there's talk of this regeneration of not just the stadium, but also the surrounding area, with something like perhaps at 5,000 new homes, new transport links, all that jazz. And that's why they've teamed up with Trafford Council, with the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, because this is going to be a partnership that involves all those authorities, all those councils and the club, of course, itself. And now there's talk perhaps of the extension of, or the redevelopment, or the increase of Media City, however you want to term that, sort of tying in with all this, because there's going to be a redevelopment, there's going to be some added bits on Media City. Looks like that could tie in with what they're trying to do here at Old Trafford. And they're talking about regenerating this area, and I think they should. I used to live not far from here, and while I love the area, and obviously everyone loves Old Trafford, it could do with a bit of regeneration. And I think if you're going to put money into this area, put money into a new stadium, then people from around it should feel the benefits. A lot of people, right, and forgive me, I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit here, a lot of people going about Manchester City and what they've done for East Manchester and how it's wonderful and redeveloped the area and all the rest of it. And yeah, but has that helped families and low-income families around that area? I think it hasn't enough. I think they could do more for those families, and I think you can do more for families around here if you're going to regenerate the area. It shouldn't just be about gentrification. It shouldn't just be about making it sort of so expensive that only the rich can live around here. It should be about developing so that everyone feels the benefits, including families that have lived here for many, many years. Forgive me if I'm getting a bit preachy there, but I'm just hoping as well, from a football point of view, we can have a stadium that is fit for purpose. Now, there's been this debate going on for years, but certainly in the last couple of years it has heated up about whether we're going to see a new stadium here or we're going to revamp Old Trafford. Now, a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, whatever it was, a lot of people I spoke to, a lot of people that got involved in the channel with comments and stuff, people I spoke to in group chats, people I spoke to here at the game, was saying we don't want a new stadium, we want Old Trafford to stay as it is, just better. We want it revamped. However, I think the sort of opinion has shifted from those conversations I've had, from the opinions I've seen. People are now saying, okay, maybe you can build a new stadium, and maybe you can keep Old Trafford in some sort of form and perhaps use it as an academy stadium or one for the women's team as well. That would make a lot of sense. Maybe you don't have an 80,000 or 76,000 seat stadium for that. Part of the issue you've got with Old Trafford is we can see how much revamping is needed. Leaks in the roof, flooding, bits of concrete falling on people's head, being squashed, right? I stand up when I'm at Old Trafford, yeah, big, well, check you, aren't you amazing standing up? No, but when I sit down at our time, my legs are squashed, I'm not even that tall. Right? Imagine Joe Smith, imagine how he feels when he tries to sit down, yeah, because he's 7'3". So it's not fit for purpose. It needs more than a bit of revamping. It's been revamped for about 100 years every other season, or every 10 years, whatever it is with the Glazers. So I think you need a new stadium. I think this whole sort of strategic partnership and all that can look at a new stadium. It can look at doing something with this one. It can look at the surrounding area. There's talk of 5,000 new homes. There's talk of new transport links. There's talk of redeveloping Wallside. There's talk of tying it in with Media City. It could be phenomenal. Do you want to make this sort of the hub of, you know, Northwest football or whatever, or football of the North? I could care less about that. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I'm more concerned about what it means for Manchester United. And I've been to different stadiums. I've been to new stadiums around the world. I'm sure many of you have, where you look at them and you go, okay, when I go to the Allianz Arena or whatever, I'm going, oh, well, Bayern Munich's lost all their history now because they're in a new stadium. No, you keep your history. Your history comes with you. And you can take parts of this stadium and put it in the new stadium. Take the statues. No one's saying get rid of the United Trinity statue or the Sir Matt Busby statue or the Jimmy Murphy statue or the Sir Alex Ferguson statue or the Dennis Law statue. No one's saying get rid of the Munich clock or even the Munich tunnel. Put that as part of the new stadium. I think you should do. But I also think your history will come with you. And people say, well, it's not the same pitch that Sir Bobby Charlton all them played on. This isn't the same pitch. We change the pitch every season, so I get the point, but I think we need to move with the times. I think you can keep your history, you can have a new stadium, you can maybe keep the old stadium as well, especially if the new stadium's going to be on this site, because I believe United own a lot of land around here. It all makes sense for me. Get involved in the chat and the comments and let me know what you think about this, what you think about the strategic partnership. Do you want to see a whole new redevelopment around here, or do you just want to see Old Trafford being given a lick of paint? We appreciate all views, and I get those people who are a bit sceptical about changing things too drastically. No one likes big change, do they? But I think this is change for the better. A couple of other stories as well. Adrian Rabiot. Adrian Rabiot. I am sick of hearing about Adrian Rabiot. When will it end? He is the new Wesley Sneijder. He is the new Sergio Milinkovic-Savic. It seems like we are linked with Adrian Rabiot every single window. Even when the window is shut, we're still linked with him because he's a free agent. I think it's caught offside as saying that United are looking at potentially bringing him as a free agent. However, because of his age, I think he's nearly 30. God, he's old. Same age as me. There's a bit of reluctance because that isn't what we do now. We buy younger players who are sort of approaching the peak of their career or, a few years off the peak of their career. So I don't know if Adrian Rabiot is going to happen. I don't think it will, if I'm being brutally honest. But the stories keep flying around and they're probably going to go on forever and ever and ever until he fully retires. So get involved in the comments in the chat. Let me know what you think about it. I think we do need another midfielder, but I think we are done now. And it's a bit frustrating, the fact that, yes, we brought in Manuel Ugarte, but we also lost Scott McTominay. We also didn't renew Sofian Amrabat. So it feels like we're a bit short in midfield. Talking of Scott McTominay, he scored for Scotland last night, as did Bruno Fernandes, as did Cristiano Ronaldo. You care? He's now on 901 goals. He's heading towards that 1,000 goals. It's great to see birthday boy Bruno Fernandes, it was his birthday yesterday, get a goal. There was talk that he might have picked up a knock, but I don't think it's too serious, so we don't need to panic, because if Bruno starts getting injured, Jesus wept. I saw a stat that said something like he's missed 4 games for injury in the last 10 years or something stupid. It's just ridiculous how fit he manages to keep himself, especially when he plays for Manchester United, and the amount of injuries we get here, it is absolutely farcical. So, yeah, Bruno Fernandes, I wouldn't look too much into that. Obviously, we've got a big game coming up against Southampton, and we've got a lot of content heading into that game. We're going to be looking towards that game a little bit later on in the week. We're going to have the Paddock podcast later on today, where we're going to get into stuff like the new stadium, stuff like the potential signings, let's not kid ourselves, there's not going to be any potential signings. We'll get into some of the other stories doing the rounds as well. Plus, we'll be talking a little bit about Erik ten Hag. We had a good chat with Nicky Butt, you may have seen that, from Adam McCall. Went to the Legends game, he was talking about Erik ten Hag, he spoke about Kobbie Mainoo. Go and check that out if you haven't done it already. That is up the channel, along with other videos as well. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. I'm Jay Motty. This has been the Pay Talk. Very windy Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.